Hello listeners. Welcome to another podcast on world history. Today I will talk about the origins of Etruria, which falls under the Etruscans. This content is about to explain the relationship between the Etruscan and Roman civilizations. So, let's get started. The origins of Etruria. The Etruscans were a Mediterranean civilization during the 6th to 3rd century BCE, from whom the Romans derived a great deal of cultural influence. Those who subscribe to an Italic, a diverse group of people who inhabited pre-Roman Italy, foundation of Rome, followed by an Etruscan invasion, typically speak of an Etruscan influence on Roman culture, that is, cultural objects that were adopted by Rome from neighboring Etruria. The prevailing view is that Rome was founded by Italics who later merged with Etruscans. In that case, Etruscan cultural objects are not a heritage but are, instead, influences. Rome was likely a small settlement until the arrival of the Etruscans, who then established its initial urban infrastructure. Origins. The origins of the Etruscans are mostly lost in prehistory. Historians have no literature, and no original texts of religion or philosophy. Therefore, much of what is known about this civilization is derived from grave goods and tomb findings. The main hypotheses state that the Etruscans were indigenous to the region, probably stemming from the Villanovan culture or from the Near East. Etruscan expansion was focused both to the north, beyond the Apennines, and into Campania. The mining and commerce of metal, especially copper and iron, led to an enrichment of the Etruscans, and to the expansion of their influence in the Italian peninsula and the western Mediterranean Sea. Here, their interests collided with those of the Greeks, especially in the 6th century BCE, when Phocenes of Italy founded colonies along the coast of Sardinia, Spain, and Corsica. This led the Etruscans to ally themselves with the Carthaginians, whose interests also collided with the Greeks. Around 540 BCE, the Battle of Eulalia led to a new distribution of power in the western Mediterranean Sea. Though the battle had no clear winner, Carthage managed to expand its sphere of influence at the expense of the Greeks, and Etruria saw itself relegated to the northern Tyrrhenian Sea with full ownership of Corsica. From the first half of the 5th century BCE, the new international political situation signaled the beginning of Etruscan decline after they had lost their southern provinces. In 480 BCE, Etruria's ally, Carthage, was defeated by a coalition of Magna Graecia cities led by Syracuse. A few years later, in 474 BCE, Syracuse's tyrant, Hiero, defeated the Etruscans at the Battle of Cumae. Etruria's influence over the cities of Latium and Campania weakened, and it was taken over by the Romans and Samnites. In the 4th century, Etruria saw a Gallic invasion and its influence over the Po Valley and the Adriatic coast. Meanwhile, Rome had started annexing Etruscan cities. These events led to the loss of the northern Etruscan provinces. Etruria was conquered by Rome in the 3rd century BCE. Etruscan government. The Etruscans governed using a state system of society, with only remnants of the chiefdom and tribal forms. In this way, they were different from the surrounding Italics. Rome was, in a sense, the first Italic state, but it began as an Etruscan one. It is believed that the Etruscan government style changed from total monarchy to an oligarchic republic, as the Roman Republic did, in the 6th century BCE, although it is important to note this did not happen to all city-states. The Etruscan state government was essentially a theocracy. The government was viewed as being a central authority over all tribal and clan organizations. It retained the power of life and death. In fact, the Gorgon, an ancient symbol of that power, appears as a motif in Etruscan decoration. The adherents to the state power were united by a common religion. Political unity in Etruscan society was the city-state, and Etruscan texts name quite a number of magistrates without explanation of their function: the Campthi, the Parniche, the Perth, the Tamara, the Maxtrave, etc. Etruscan families. According to inscriptional evidence from tombs, aristocratic families were important within Etruscan society. Most likely, Aristocratic families rose to prominence over time through the accumulation of wealth via trade, with many of the wealthiest Etruscan cities located near the coast. The Etruscan name for family was lautun, and at the center of the lautun was the married couple. Etruscans were monogamous, and the lids of large numbers of sarcophagi were decorated with images of smiling couples in the prime of their life, often reclining next to each other or in an embrace. Many tombs also included funerary inscriptions naming the parents of the deceased, indicating the importance of the mother's side of the family in Etruscan society. Additionally, Etruscan women were allowed considerable freedoms in comparison to Greek and Roman women, and mixed-sex socialization outside the domestic realm occurred. Etruscan religion. The Etruscan system of belief was an immanent polytheism, that is, all visible phenomena were considered to be a manifestation of divine power, and that power was subdivided into deities that acted continually on the world of man and could be dissuaded or persuaded in favor of human affairs. 3 layers of deities are evident in the extensive Etruscan art motifs. One appears to be divinities of an indigenous nature, Catha and Usul, the sun, Tifr, the moon, Selvuns, a civil god, Turin, the goddess of love, Laren, the god of war, Linth, the goddess of death, Maris, Thulna, Terms, and the ever-popular Fufluns, whose name is related in an unknown way to the city of Populonia and the Populus Romanus, the Roman people. Ruling over this pantheon of lesser deities were higher ones that seemed to reflect the Indo-European system, Tin or Tinia, the sky, Uni, his wife, Juno, and Sel, the earth goddess. In addition, the Greek gods were taken into the Etruscan system, Eridime, Artemis, Minerva, and Pasha, Bacchus. The Greek heroes taken from Homer also appear extensively in art motifs. The Greek polytheistic approach was similar to the Etruscan religious and cultural base. As the Romans emerged from the legacy created by both of these groups, it shared in a belief system of many gods and deities. Etruscan language and etymology. Knowledge of the Etruscan language is still far from complete. It is believed that the Etruscans spoke a non-Indo-European language, probably related to what is called the Tyrsenian language family, which is itself an isolate family, or in other words, unrelated directly to other known language groups. No etymology exists for Rasna, the Etruscans' name for themselves, though Italian historic linguist, Massimo Pittau, has proposed that it meant shaved or beardless. The hypothesized etymology for Tusci, a root for Tuscan or Etruscan, suggests a connection to the Latin and Greek words for tower, illustrating the Tusci people as those who built towers. This was possibly based upon the Etruscan preference for building hill towns on high precipices that were enhanced by walls. The word may also be related to the city of Troy, which was also a city of towers, suggesting large numbers of migrants from that region into Etruria. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to check out other tracks as well. Show your love by hitting the subscribe button and do like, comment and share, to spread knowledge. See you next time. Till then, keep learning for fun.